So this is my high school graduation experience. So in 1995, I graduated from Heritage Christian High School with a whopping class of 58 kids. So having 58 kids in your graduating class provides some unique opportunities. One of the things that we did, we had some traditions. First thing was seniors would not have to take finals. We actually graduated before finals started. And personally, I think that was a good move because we just get the seniors out of there. Like, they don't really care. They've got senioritis, and it's not very conducive for the whole academic experience of everybody else freaking out. So we get them out of there. And so the last day, we had graduation on a Friday night, and on Friday, that was the last official day. The seniors are there, and in the morning they had what was called the Senior Day Parade, and the objective was to try to get the coolest vehicles that you possibly could, or most iconic. So you ask your dad for their sports car, your grandpa. Or you get like an iconic vehicle like the Newton's Shaggin' Wagon that would show up. Last semester talked about the Smiley-O-Mobile making an appearance. So we were looking for something cool and unique. This is before the Smiley Wagon existed. It had not been created yet. It was just a plain old dumpy station wagon. So we were brainstorming, and so there was a rule in the student handbook about no vehicles with tank tread, and allowed in the in the school parking lot. And we started asking, what was going on there. And evidently during the Senior Day Parade, someone had gotten a hold of their grandpa's World War II tank and drove that in the Senior Day Parade around the parking lot, chewed up the asphalt like crazy. And so because of that, they wrote in the handbook, no tank tread allowed in the school parking lot. And personally, I was like, you've arrived when they write a rule in the handbook because of something that you did. So the year before, the seniors had hauled a boat and then had people water skiing behind it in rollerblades, and we thought that was pretty creative, but we wanted to go like the step above that. So we started brainstorming, and the thing we came up with was, I don't know if you've ever been to like a small town parade, but there's these Shriners. They have go-karts, and they have like 3 people, and they're doing the 3-man weave with go-karts, and we thought, how cool would that be? So we started asking people around, hey, you have a go-kart? We ended up with 2 go-karts within our class. And so we started looking around outside of our class for another go-kart. And it turned out that our school librarian actually had a go-kart. And so we asked her if we could borrow it. And so she brought it to school that Thursday. And so another tradition that we had was that night before graduation, there was a lock-in, and it was an open gym lock-in where all the seniors would come in, and they'd open up all the athletic closets, and so you could have like basketball and just dodgeball, just a whole bunch of stuff, just kind of as a celebration right before graduation. And so we had this go-kart, and David, the kid that told the little kids to kick Mr. Eagle in the butt and he'll fly, that kid, he and I were driving this go-kart because we had it, and so we were just driving around campus, just zipping around parking lots. We actually took it on the track, and we timed it, who had the fastest quarter-mile time, and our athletic director probably wouldn't have appreciated that. And so anyway, we were just having a fun time. And I forgot an important part of this. So part of that, the lock-in tradition was that we could TP the school. And like in the years past, it was just a smash-up job. I mean, they just blanketed the campus with toilet paper. Well, one of the downsides of going to a private school was that it was very donor sensitive, meaning that if someone gives a lot of money to the school, they have a lot of pull in terms of how they think their school should be run. Well, evidently someone with deep pockets decided that they didn't like the public image of Heritage Christian getting TP'd. And so they said, we don't want any TP. And this is actually a year before us. And so everybody's like, oh, are you kidding me? This stinks. I can't believe this. And so the compromise was there was this one tree, big sycamore tree out front, and the seniors could TP that. Well, it was pretty lame, but they did a great job with that. And so my senior year, the person didn't like that, the whole TPing just the one tree, still thought it was disrespectful, and they said no TPing at all. And so like every year, everybody thinks they get the short end of the stick, like, there's always something to complain about. 2020 seniors, I think you take the cake on that one, sorry to say. But so anyway, we were bemoaning the fact that we weren't allowed to TP at all, and our principal, he was pretty frustrated with that rule as well. And so in a moment of weakness, I don't know what got into his mind on this one, but he's like, well, doggone it. And this is during the lock-in, so all the seniors are there. He's like, well, if we can't TP the outside of the school, then we're going to TP the inside of the school. And all of a sudden, he's like, are you serious? Is he being serious? He's like, and he starts unlocking the building, unlocking all the classroom doors. He's like, go get him, kids. And I'm like, no way. So we like trashed the place, especially like teachers that we didn't really appreciate. Like there were some teachers that were really like picky with, how things should be, just so. And like we just did all the things that just really ticked them off, the pet peeves. We like stacked chairs and pyramids. We TP'd the place. I mean, it was a job well done. Needless to say, that was the last year that happened. But it was a good entry for the first and final year. However, I was not participating in that. I was outside with David on this go-kart, just cruising around the campus. And so we're driving through the outfield of the baseball diamond, and he's driving, sitting in the seat. It's a single place, and I'm standing on the back axle with my hands on his shoulders, and we're going through the outfield, and all of a sudden I feel something like give way, like something got loose. I'm like, David, we need to stop. So this is like midnight, and so we pull under the parking lot lamp to see what was going on, and we had broken the frame. There's a metal frame, and the solder piece had busted. I'm like, oh no. We just borrowed this go-kart, and we have a senior day parade the next morning. Like, we gotta fix this. I'm like I think my dad has some welding stuff at home. And so we loaded this go-kart in the back of the station wagon, and we took it to my house. And so by the time we get there, it's probably about 1 in the morning, and my parents were in bed, and we were trying to sneak this go-kart down into my basement without waking up my parents. I don't know exactly what we were thinking about that, but we're like trying to carry this go-kart through the kitchen, and like, this is just stupid. We get halfway down the basement stairs, and Dad comes in like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, oh, Dad, we busted this go-kart. And like, hey, do you have some welding stuff? He's like, not the stuff that you, like, it wouldn't be strong enough. The stuff that I have wouldn't be a strong enough weld. Like, you're going to have to take it to shop in the morning. Like, but Dad, the senior day parade. And he's like, all right, I don't know. I mean, you can try to figure out stuff. So we spent the rest of the night brainstorming, trying to come up with a way to jerry-rig this thing to keep it together, and to no avail. So we found a welder that opened up at 6 a.m. and so we were in the parking lot at 5 a.m. He came in at 5:30, and we gave him our sob story, like, hey, you know, graduating seniors, we got the senior day parade, like, we got this thing, it's just a quick weld, wondering if you could fix that up for us. He's like, oh, boys, you know, I'd love to, but I've got a pretty heavy workload today. I don't know if I could get to it. I'm like, oh, sir, you know, the parade's at 8 o'clock, and if you could find some way to just, you know, squeeze that in, that would be awesome. Like, I don't know, boys, I'll see what I can do. Oh, thank you, sir. We appreciate that. So, so we call him at 7. It's like, sir, it's like, boys, I haven't got to it yet. Call him at 7:30. Boys, I don't. No, not yet. 7:45. Boys, I don't think it's gonna happen. Not before your senior day parade. I'm like, ah. So we go to school, and we pulled an all-nighter trying to fix this go-kart. So we go into school, and we missed the parade altogether. We go up to the librarian, and she's like, what happened to the go-kart Shriner, like, 3-man weave thing? And so we had to tell her we busted her go-kart. She was a little ticked off, but she was appreciative that we were taking responsibility of it. And so right after the parade, then the seniors went to the place that we were rehearsing for graduation, went through rehearsal, and then we didn't sleep, and then that night was graduation. We went through the whole graduation ceremony, and Dave and I, we just pulled an all-nighter, and we hadn't slept at all, and so we're like trying to stay awake during graduation. And the way we did it was they had a banquet right afterwards in the same facility, and we had all the grandparents, all family members from, you know, everybody right there once. And at midnight they had a charter bus ready for us, and we got on the bus and took a bus ride overnight to Cedar Point. And so we didn't get a whole lot of sleep that night either, because, you know, it's graduation. We're on a bus with all, you know, our fellow graduates, and so we get to Cedar Point, and like Dave and I were like running on minimal sleep for past 48 hours, and doing roller coasters on like 3 hours of sleep for 48 hours. That was a trip. Didn't remember a whole lot of it, but it was epic. So hope you guys have some semblance of some kind of graduation, seniors, and do something to make it memorable. Just make sure it's legal and wise. So love you guys. See you soon.